When all three of the amplifiers are being used for travel, they're in the delta configuration. And when only one is being used for travel, it's in the Omicron configuration.
So as far as propulsion, the craft operates in two different modes, called Omicron and Delta. Omicron meaning 1 and Delta meaning 3, and that's referring to how many of the amplifiers and emitters are being used. So in Omicron configuration, the craft lifts off the ground using one amplifier and one emitter. The other two emitters can swing all the way up to 180 degrees out the side of the craft, and what that does is cause distortion in space and kind of forces the craft to fall into that distortion. Kind of the opposite of the way our aircraft work. Instead of throwing material out the back, this causes some sort of distortion in front of it where it's drawn into. The other mode of operation, delta configuration, is really used when the craft is outside the atmosphere, where it's sitting in free space. In that mode, the craft rotates on its side. It does a belly roll and faces the bottom of the craft towards the destination. The three emitters in the bottom of the craft focus on the destination. They're brought up to power and the craft makes a jump. Now, the amplifiers don't operate on a continuous fashion. They pulse. They produce a pulse of energy and then require a recycle time. It's somewhere around 10 milliseconds or something like that. But then they essentially can fire again and make another jump. So in traveling to a distant location, the craft will make several jumps. It's never just one long jump, across the galaxy or something like that. It's just a series of jumps, and that's how it moves. When it arrives to where it is, it'll get close to the destination, switch over to Omicron mode, and set down or cruise around or whatever it's planned. And these are the gravity amplifiers themselves. Looking down from the top, you'd have the center. In the very center, there is a small reactor. Surrounding this, in three equally spaced areas, are the amplifiers. So this is looking at it sideways, this is looking at it down from the top. And under these amplifiers, underneath, on the floor below, are the gravity emitters. So it's the reactor here, powering the gravity amplifiers. Gravity amplifiers output goes into the gravity emitters at the bottom, and the resulting gravity beam or anti-gravity wave can be pretty much put anywhere you want it to. There was another level up here. Now I had access and was permitted to view and look at the operation of this main level with the gravity amplifiers and the level below, the gravity emitters. There is a level above which consisted of these two areas that I'm not all that familiar with. I assume these to be some sort of navigational engine. People call these large black rectangular areas on the top portholes. I believe they were some planar sensor array that just took in information from the surrounding area, whether it be patterns of stars or what have you. And there was their version of a computer or something to make determinations here that takes input from those sensors and then let the craft know how to orient itself and where it was in space. So that's what I assume to be up there. I don't know for a fact. Again, that was not part of my job, and I was only led to believe that. The center antenna is really an extension of the reactor in the center, and that's a waveguide, which allows the emission of the gravity wave, which forms kind of a heart shape over the whole craft. That's how it creates its distortion. These gravity emitters can be swung all the way up to 180 degrees. And this allows the craft to essentially stand on two of them and hover, while this one swings up and creates a distortion in front of it, allowing the craft to slide forward. So that's how their low power mode, Omicron configuration operate. The Delta configuration uses all three, and unlike science fiction movies where you see flying saucers just flying along like that, they actually fly belly first. The craft flies along, leaves the atmosphere of the planet, it turns its belly to the destination, the three amplifiers focus in on the destination, and that's how it proceeds. So that's basically the operation of it and overall how things were laid out inside the craft.
This is an alien spacecraft.
Right, obviously.